It starts with a single thread. Someone says a phrase at dinner that sounds slightly off, or you notice a tiny change in a friend's routine, or you see a specific headline that reminds you of an event from 3 years ago. For most people, these are just isolated moments. They are random dots of data that float by and disappear. But not for you. For you, the dot doesn't disappear. It snags. Your mind grabs hold of it and then it starts looking for the next one. You lay awake at night not because you are worried, but because you are working. You are replaying the conversation, cross-referencing it with the text message from last week, and comparing it to a pattern of behavior you noticed 6 months ago. Suddenly, it clicks. You see the invisible line connecting them all. You realize what is actually happening. You predict the breakup, the layoff, or the shift in the relationship long before anyone else sees it coming. Society calls this overthinking. They say you are reading too much into it. They tell you to get out of your head. They treat your brain like a broken machine that is spinning its wheels, generating noise for no reason. They think you are creating problems that don't exist. But they are wrong. You aren't creating problems. You are discovering the ones that are already there. You are not suffering from a defect in focus. You are displaying a high-level cognitive trait known as synthesis. In psychology, there is a massive difference between ruminating, which is just looping a negative thought out of fear, and pattern matching. You are a pattern matcher. Think of the world like a night sky. Most people just look up and see a random scatter of stars. They see the isolated events of the day. They take things at face value. You do not see stars. You see constellations. You are what we call the weaver. Your mind is hardwired to look for the invisible threads that connect unrelated concepts. Where others see a messy room, you see the psychology of the person who lives there. Where others hear a casual joke, you hear the hidden resentment underneath it. This is not a curse. It is a data processing supercomputer. You are constantly harvesting information, archiving it, and waiting for the moment two unrelated pieces of data fit together to reveal the truth. Why would evolution give you a brain that never turns off? Why would nature design a human who obsesses over details? Because the tribe didn't just need people to hunt the buffalo. They needed someone who could look at the grass and realize the buffalo weren't coming back this year. They needed the pattern matcher. They needed someone who could look at a broken twig, a silence in the forest, and a shift in the wind, and weave those three unrelated things into a single conclusion. Predator. The overthinker is the one who notices the subtle shifts in the environment that signal danger or opportunity before the rest of the group even wakes up. You are not paranoid. You are simply the first one to read the weather report. Of course, being a weaver in a world that prefers simple answers is exhausting. It can feel lonely. You often feel like you are speaking a language no one else understands. You try to explain the connection you see, how A leads to B, which leads to C, and people look at you like you are crazy. So you learn to stay silent. You watch the pattern play out, and inevitably 3 months later, when the event you predicted finally happens, you don't say, "I told you so." You just feel that quiet, heavy satisfaction of knowing the system works. So the next time someone tells you that you think too much, do not apologize. Do not try to dull your senses. Most people look at the chaos of life and see a wall. But because you connect the dots, you see the cracks in the wall that no one else notices. You aren't just solving a puzzle. You are finding the questions we didn't even know we needed to ask. You are the one who realizes that the dead end is actually a doorway. The world doesn't need less thinking. It needs more people who can find the invisible key.